Hello, Fred. Good morning. Thank you very much for joining me on this beautiful day here in Salzburg.
Hello, Eva. Thank
Hello.
you for having me.
I'm glad you're here. I came across your platform, FPI, which means Foreign Policy International, and I was very surprised that you bring detailed information and background about the Russian-Ukrainian war, the war in Israel against the Palestinians, and the whole political situation. So please, would you tell us what the global situation is at the moment for you, in your perspective?
The global situation is not complicated. It's an easy situation. It's one situation, two blocks, and, well, a few problems. The one situation is that there is a confrontation between two blocks. We have, on the one hand, the West, G7 West. The West wants to implement its G7 rules-based world order over the globe. The rest of the globe thinks that's not a good idea. We have two blocks. On the one hand, the West, on the other hand, RIC, Russia, India, China. These are the main competitors. Russia and China are positioned. India is in some sort of troubles. Russia and China oppose the Western hegemonial rules. And this is the problem that the West faces. We have conflicts. We have Ukraine on one side. We have Israel, Gaza. We have, not to forget, a complicated situation with China. A very hot situation with China. And the West is going to lose its grip on the world. Ukraine is on the way to get eliminated because the West is no longer able to support Ukraine in that way that it needs to make the war with the Russians. The Russians have no problems. There's a new situation now in Israel with Gaza and so on, and the Palestinians. And here in this situation, also the Russians, with their troops in Syria, are in a very important position. Very, very important position. And so, for the West, Russia is the main problem. It's China, it's Russia. When you look at the conflicts, Ukraine and Russia. When you look at Israel, the greatest problem for the West are the troops, the Russian troops in Syria. And so there is a little bit of, how should we name it, foggy situation. The West don't know where to go and how to go. There is no plan in the West how to deal, on the one hand, with the eroding situation in Ukraine and with the also very, very dangerous situation in Israel. On both places, there is no strategy from the West. It's from the West, no strategy. It's on the other side, there is strategy. Iranians, Russians, and so on, Saudis as well, they know what to do and they do it. And so the West is no longer able to fix the habit. You have a situation where you go from now to then. There is no strategy, there is no long-time strategy or something else. There is only what is today, what happens, and then for the next 5 seconds, for the next 5 minutes, for the next 5 hours, I need a solution. For the next day, we'll wait, and then there are the next solutions.
Fred, do you think we all have to be afraid of a third world war?
It will be a war. They will call it the Third World War, but it will be no world war. You will have the Ukraine will implode, explode, and will disappear. There will be no Ukraine in the future. And in Israel, there will be fighting, heavy fighting, and in the end, they will end with the two-state solution, a solution which is in 1993 and 1994 fixed in Oslo agreements, two agreements, 1993 and 1995, which fixed the two-state solution and which were not implemented because the West don't want to implement it. But at the end, we'll have a two-state solution here, and we will have no Ukraine in Europe.
So which kind of superpower do you think will prevail at the end?
Russia, China, India as well, but at the moment India is in a difficult situation. It will be hard for them, but they will prevail. The US is dead. Europe will survive in not so bad way, because Europe is only playground and it's a chess figure. It's not a player, it's a chess figure. The Americans are the players, USA men, the players, and this player has to be neutralized from Russia and China, and they want it. And then we have to look at the situation of the conflict, how the conflict is doing, and what are the important situations of the conflict. The focus is military, military, military. So we see tanks and so on, and military. But this is not the main focus of the war. The main focus of the war is political and economic, let's say, domination, let's say, who will prevail, political and economic. Military is a tool for positioning, a tool for might, a tool to present and to force their own interests. But it's not the goal itself. The goal is to change the political and the economic situation.
Whose military do you consider as the strongest of them all?
Russia. Nobody, actually, no other army, no other forces can compare with Russia. The US is existing. Chinese are good. The Indians, well, at the moment they are not on the level that they should to be to make real an impact on the world situation. Russia dominates, China second, US on the third or fourth place existing. Who is third? No, third place. Fourth place, China. Fourth place, USA.
And where's the NATO and Europe in this scenario?
They're existing.
No, not more.
No.
Okay. So this is not a very good end of our first interview, but this will be continued very soon. And I do have to give the viewers a little better outcome. So if the Europeans behave as one should, do you give them a chance?
The Europeans are dead. They're zombies.
The EU.
EU is a zombie, and EU as a whole, because you have not only see the present political situation, you have to look at the economic situation and the financial situation. Debt. This is the main problem.
For the nation states, do they prevail?
The nations will prevail. Austria and Germany in a special way, but the others in Poland in a special way, but the others in a normal way. But there will be in the future another big brother. You know, at the moment the Europeans, there's a big brother, and this is the US. And we adore them and so on, you know it. And in the future we will have big brothers, which means states and organizations, which means Russia, India, China on the one hand, which means BRICS, which means SCO, Shanghai Cooperation Organization, and so on. So the world will changing. The structure will be more or less the same, because you switch from the one side to the other side. You have US actual, you will have Russia, India, China future. You have EU on the one hand, you have BRICS in the future, who's dominating the world economic situation.
So, but we will go from a very one-sided hegemonial reign of the US about almost all other countries where they have their military bases, to a much more multipolar world.
It will be multipolar, and therefore the opportunities will be greater on the one hand. On the other hand, when you only have one big partner, you have a stable situation. On the other hand, when there are more, then You have to fix the problem here and here and here and here. But this is the future. The future is that the old colonial system, which has now maintained for 500 years, more than 500 years, is over. Game over for the Europeans and for the US as well. The US know it. Europeans don't check it. But the US know that they're on the end of the line. And now they're searching for some survival of the fittest with Biden.
Biden is not the best starter in this race. Do you think that if Donald Trump ever came back, it would be a better position to deal with Russia?
I don't think that's a good deal that Trump comes back, because the situation for the US will be different to the situation when Trump was in office. The new US is dead. At the moment, the Chinese are the ones who make the economic and financial war. Economic means cheap war and so on. Financial war means they sell their US bonds in masses. And this is the job of the Chinese. They do the economic job. They do the financial job against the US. And note, not against the EU. There is no attack on Europe or so. There's only attack on dollar, not the euro.
So the Europeans have the chance for a better future as they are not under attack of China, Russia, and the US endless wars for nothing but destruction will come to an end as there is no more money to finance it. Can we leave it with this?
We should see that the Europeans are protected because they are not attacked. The US is not protected and they are attacked. And so you see that the US, that the main goal for, let's say, economic, financial, and military execution. The Europeans should survive. The military is for nothing. France, UK, forget it. And they should economically survive.
So that's a good outlook for us Europeans, because we want to keep our wonderful nations and our nature and cities intact. And I do hope we will come out of this whole chaos with a much better world for everybody.
Nice.
Thank you so much, Fred, for this interview.
My pleasure.
And we will continue soon. Goodbye, and please like and share.